I rented one of my properties to Section 8, and I also help a lot of owners rent their properties to Section 8. And in this video, I'm going to share my real experience dealing with Section 8 and my experience with Section 8 tenants. Stay tuned. My name is Omar Esparza. I'm a real estate investor and real estate agent here in Connecticut, and I work with a lot of rental properties, including Section 8. So here's my experience. First, let's talk about the money. As many of you know, Section 8 usually pays more than private tenants. And in a lot of cases, that is very true. In a lot of cities here in Connecticut, I see that Section 8 will pay between $100 and $300 more for the same apartment that a private tenant would pay. For example, if a private tenant is willing to pay $2,000 for a 3-bedroom, in a lot of cases, Section 8 will approve a rent of $2,200 to $2,300. This is one of the major reasons that a lot of people want to rent to Section 8, because people, when they buy an investment property, of course, they want to maximize their cash flow and their income. So Section 8 is a great way to do that if you're just looking at the number. Before I get to some of the cons of Section 8, I'm going to tell you all the pros that I experienced with Section 8. And the biggest pro is that the Section 8 payment, at least the Section 8 part, is guaranteed. Section 8 will always pay the rent on the first, and they will always pay the part. However, a Section 8 tenant's rent is not 100% paid by Section 8. Usually, Section 8 pays between 50 to 70% of the tenant's rent. So if rent is $2,000, a lot of times Section 8 might pay $1,000 and the tenant has to pay the other $1,000. So keep that in mind. Just because it's a Section 8 tenant doesn't mean that 100% of the rent is paid by Section 8. But the Section 8 portion is always paid on time, and that is a huge advantage. The other pro of Section 8 in Connecticut is the high demand. There is a lot of people on Section 8 looking for a rental property. The biggest reason that there's such a high demand is because first, there was a lot of Section 8 vouchers given some years ago. Not only that, a lot of landlords do not want to deal with the Section 8 inspection. And I'm going to get into more detail on that when it comes to the cons. A lot of owners want nothing to do with Section 8 inspections because they have a strict guideline. And if you miss one of those items, then you have to reinspect, which can make you lose a week or two of rent. And that's a big deal. Out of all the pros, in my opinion, the biggest pro of Section 8 is that they pay more than a private tenant in a lot of cases. Not in every case, but in a lot of cases they do. Now let me talk about the cons. And one of the biggest cons with Section 8 is not the tenant, is the Section 8 inspection. The Section 8 inspection is very strict. If you miss one item, you have to come fix it, and then you have to get the inspector to come and reinspect the unit again. Usually when you fail, it's for something minor, so that's not an issue. The biggest issue is that you have to wait a week or two for them to come back and reinspect, and that could mean that you lose a whole month of rent, because if the inspection was done on March 25th and you fail, now you're gonna miss the deadline for them to move in on the 1st of the next month. So right there, you lost a month of rent. Not only that, landlords normally don't want to deal with the Section 8 inspector because they fix the unit or they don't fix the unit and they just want to rent it as is. But Section 8 as is doesn't exist. You got to repair the unit to the standards that Section 8 has. And some landlords get very smart with Section 8. They learn all the rules of Section 8, and the unit might be in horrible condition, but everything that Section 8 looks for works well and it's in good condition, while the unit might be in bad condition, and they still pass. And that's one of the biggest issues with Section 8. You can have a beautiful apartment, a beautiful unit, and the unit will fail because an outlet is not grounded. And then you could have a rundown unit, a rundown apartment, and that unit or apartment will pass just because the landlord has experience and he knows how to fix everything just enough so that he can pass the Section 8 inspection. So I see that a lot. I had apartments that were perfect condition, but we failed for outlet or something minor like that. And I had properties that I thought were never going to pass Section 8 and they passed Section 8. It's just the way it is. Section 8 has their guidelines and they go by those guidelines. It doesn't matter if the apartment is in bad or good condition. Now I'm going to talk about a con that's not really a con and it's more of a myth. That is that Section 8 tenants put more wear and tear in your property. From my experience, that is false. It's the same wear and tear that any other tenant would have on the property. Wear and tear is more about how many pets they have, how many people live in the property, from my experience. Not really about if the tenant is Section 8 or not. So that is something that is not true from my experience. Now I'm going to let you know if Section 8 is for you. If you're a landlord that's okay with having someone come inspecting your unit and you're gonna repair the items that come up and you're not gonna have any issues with that, then Section 8 is a great opportunity for you. However, if you're a landlord that just wants to put the unit on the market and doesn't want to fix anything or doesn't want to take care of any small items, then Section 8 is not for you, because you're gonna have a very hard time not only passing the Section 8 inspection but dealing with Section 8 throughout the years. So if you're a person that's okay with going back, fixing stuff, then it's great for you. But if you're not that type of person, then I think that you should find a private tenant. And if you cannot find a private tenant for what you're trying to rent, then lower the price. That's the best advice I can give you. If you're thinking about investing in Section 8 properties here in Connecticut, give me a call. I'll be more than happy to help you finding the right property for you. Thank you for watching the video, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.